What's going on, guys? Dante, another episode. Happy anniversary. I know that happened last week. I just want to let you guys know we had our anniversary. 4 years, baby. Woo. All right. Yeah, 4 years. You know what I mean? So I know I'm setting up something for the listeners. I'm actually making some shirts for you guys. I'm really actually serious. I'm actually serious about this. I'm really going to do this. I'm not hyping you guys up. I'm in the making because I have my brother who's making shirts and everything. So he's kind of tagging in with that. He has a little machine. So he's ordering vinyl and stuff. So it should be coming in hopefully like for the week. And in the week, I'll be giving out shirts to the fans for free. I already got shirt sizes for a lot of the listeners. I got to get you guys shirt sizes too. Send it to you guys, what color you guys want, color scheme, that stuff. So happy anniversary. It's my gift to everybody. I mean, it's, I got different sizes too. So I don't know. There's a gray, black. I think it was like a white shirt, black. It's different sizes I got. Different sizes and different colors. So, yeah. But now for my last episode, guys. I know it's been a while, but we had some good talks on the last episode. I'm not sure if you guys want to recap on the last one or kind of move on to this next episode. But just so you guys know, I forgot who was even on here. I didn't even tell you guys who's on here. My bad. Myself, Kiki, Alpha Monk, Red Pill. I think Ancho's gonna hop on a little later. But yeah, so you guys know that's me. But if you guys want to recap on the last episode, I think we didn't wing that one. I think we had actually something to talk about. I'm trying to remember.
Was that the homosexual episode?
Yeah, homosexual. Yeah, man, dude, hey, that's hella funny. I've been using that now lately. That's like a term now we've been using. No one knows what that is until like now we started saying it. Like I like that we're creating new terminologies. But have you guys experienced that lately or know somebody? Did you guys educate them on what homosexual was? What kind of experience you guys went through over the week? Nothing?
So I can say recently I've just seen that as a more and more viable dating model, right? I'm thinking more about like, hey, maybe I should really hop on this homosexual train where it's kind of like, all I have to do is clean up a little bit and lay pipe. And it's like, all right, I don't have to do much else. Free rent, free food, just get taken care of. It's like, why not? Doesn't sound like a bad deal. As long as I'm there emotionally to support her, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's good too. I mean, like, we talked about someone getting like digmatized to the point where they do anything at this point. That's funny. There's a lot of experiences where people did that. And I'm like, man, you're good. If you're able to keep that for a long time and still live in, dude, that's skilled. But what about you, Kylie? Since you're the only one women holding it down today, have you experienced it? Like, I don't know if you even talked anything about it. Like, were you open to having that? Like, having someone you're okay with dating someone who's a homosexual? Or were you kind of...
Sexual? Not so much. I mean, if, for instance, if he's not working, but if he's in school or something, or if he's like doing something else, like with his life and not just bumming off of me, then I'd be okay with it. But like just straight homosexual, like not doing anything, then no, I'm not down for that.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm not.
What if he's like just so amazing person? He's wooing you in all the right places. He's like, yeah, man, like, let's do this, but you got to pay for it. Let's do the drive. But you know what I mean? Like, what if you're like madly in love? Like, I think that can happen. I mean, they're okay with it.
I mean, if he's asking for it, then I would say no. I mean, I would be okay with it if I was the one that was offering, but if he's the one that's taking, then no, that's different. Dang. I wouldn't be down.
Okay.
I think one of the things of being a homosexual, like the way to do it successfully is to not let that person know you're a homosexual. Like the way it works is like you kind of have to keep up this charade that you're like, I feel like you kind of have to make her fall in love with your potential. Or make him fall in love. Well, no, that's just regular dating. Make her fall in love with your potential, right? You have to kind of convince her that there's this great thing right on the horizon, and she just got to hold you down for a little bit longer, and then just keep putting up roadblocks and imaginary obstacles.
I feel like a lot of women fall for that.
Yeah,
They
me
fall
too.
for potential instead of who they are now.
Yeah, that's happened a lot.
Mhm.
They'd be like, man, he's still living at your house, and he's still got mail coming over. Yeah. Still ain't working yet either. But that's interesting. I actually like that one. That was a funny episode. If you guys don't tune into that one, I highly recommend. That was a good episode. It's the episode before that. So we're going on to this one. This is titled The Mental Block. Mental blocks in dating, mental blocks in a lot of things, a lot of different avenues. And I was actually quick to make notes too, actually. And Aunt Shirley actually helped me with this. So the topic would be, does overthinking or overanalyzing situations prevent you from seeing a relationship objectively? Right? I mean, so I personally think like a lot of that is true. A lot of people have those kind of mental blocks, especially when they kind of see a potential, but then they swerve away because a block happens. I see that happening more of like zodiac, personality, love language shit. Like I feel like that's happened to me a few times where they're just like, oh well, we don't match with this, so this is not gonna, you know what I mean? I'm not tripping because I know that. But have you guys experienced it where someone overanalyzed that zodiac sign or just personality or love language? They just dive into it way too deeply, and they're just so deeply into it where it
No,
just
I've
affects everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've never dated anybody who was so deeply into it. I mean, every girl that I have dated probably dabbled or dipped a toe into it here and there, but it's never stopped them. I mean, I've dated girls who were the exact opposite of what they would say was my horoscope, charisma, like wouldn't chemistry, none of that would actually connect, but it was wrong. We were really good for each other. It's just other things, other factors just didn't fall into place. But yeah, I never really had anybody who was really obsessed or really into it or overanalyzed my sign or anything like that. Just like when I would do something, they were like, "Oh, that's just what Tauruses do," and then shit like that. But
It's happened to me too many times, man. So I had someone who I feel like they overanalyzed it because it was just capping whatever we had to say. Oh, that's typical Virgo. Like that's typical you would do. I don't fuck with Virgo dudes for this reason. And it's just like, then I do it, but it's like, they're just completely just shut off. Like, I'm like, man, what the hell? That's why I've never been open with the signs. I'm like, this is bullshit. So, I mean, and then I had several situations where I had to speak the same love language as someone else. And it's like, you look at it like, are they still like single for this reason? Or is that a mental block? Does that count as a mental block? Because if you're not even kind of looking at it from just getting to know somebody, that could be a big mental block, man.
Hey, if a girl throws that whole Virgo thing on you, like, oh, I don't date Virgos, you need to fire back with like, well, my moon sign is
that's
and my
hilarious.
rising sign is what's it again? What was yours again? I don't remember.
I think it was like rising. I think it was Libra, and then I Sagittarius or some shit.
Yeah, Libra rising.
Yeah.
So it goes deeper than just your sun sign.
Oh, I did that. I did that before, and then they hit me with their love language.
Well, those are like two different things.
I'm like, man, I'm just not winning. Like, this is just too much, man. I'm like, you gonna be single forever? You looking at this the whole time? Like, I'm sorry, man. You gotta at least you gotta open up your horizons, man. And every person, is different. I don't think it's based off. I know you're a big believer of the signs, so I mean, but you're not like an overanalyzer, Kylie. I don't think you fully look into that too much.
I mean, Kylie, has
what you do?
you from dating somebody before?
Huh?
Has it stopped you from dating anyone before? Just the horoscope?
There's some certain signs that I get kind of turned off by. Like, I'm not really into cancers. I mentioned that before in a different episode.
That's
One
weird,
of my
but, like-
exes was a Cancer, and also my mom is a Cancer too, so I kind of have an idea. They do have a lot of similarities to each other. I mean, all the ones that I've known. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Are they just
But how would you
being
know if you by looking at them?
Well, I always ask. Well, I don't ask what their sign is. I ask, oh, when's your birthday? And then they'll be like, oh, in July. And I'm like,
That's
oh,
a trick.
he's probably a Cancer.
Shut up.
Or hopefully he's a Leo.
So you should be turned off instantly if he's like a Cancer. You're just like, well, he was everything I needed. He was cool, nice, good looking, and he became a Cancer. You're just like, nah.
But those Cancer qualities will come out.
And
That's
what's your
just crazy.
favorite horoscope?
My favorite? Sagittarius.
Oh. Here go Markel. Here we go. Here we go.
Thank you, Kylie, for
Yeah,
recognizing
Sagittarius
greatness.
or Gemini.
This guy recognizing greatness.
Sagittarius Master Race, we are here.
Stupid.
Represent.
No, I definitely, and this is like not one of my shining qualities, but I definitely discriminate against Capricorns.
She said. My
I don't
sister,
have any Capricorn friends.
my sister-in-law, she said yes, Sagittarius. Got some comments here. Yeah, man. Like, what about everybody else? What about the Virgos and Tauruses out there, man?
Virgos are cool. Tauruses are cool.
We cool, you know. We
Oh, don't worry.
Tauruses are okay.
We have enough.
There are better
We have
signs
way
out
more than enough, bro.
I've been having a
Don't
hard
worry.
time, man. It's been hard out here for the Virgo men, man. I don't know. I don't know who started these women.
It's all good, man. Tauruses have been the lovers of women for so long. He can have his little limelight for a while.
That's the most Taurus thing I ever heard. It's okay.
Exactly.
It's let him be him. It's okay. Let him have his little hill to stand up.
I just want to know who
Right.
scarred these women. What signs scarred these women so bad? I'm like, for Virgo man, I'm like, what Virgo man did this to you? Like, you just like, no.
It's probably you.
Oh shit.
You.
Shit, you're
Probably
right.
just forgot.
You're
Like,
right.
I don't know.
Right.
Geminis are kind of shifty, though. You can't really trust Geminis. Two-faced.
Gemini season. We can't be speaking on them right now, man.
I know it's their
I'm
season right
speaking
now.
on it.
All
I
right.
don't care. I'm speaking on it.
No, it's their season, so we should speak on them.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. I got another question for you guys too, man.
All right.
What do you do to prevent you from? Okay. How can you guys overcome? What are your guys' mental blocks when it comes to dating? I
Commitment.
guess each one of you guys, all you guys. What's your?
Oh. Shit.
What is your
Tell her-
mental block?
That was definitely commitment for me. I think one of my weakest points is I have a really hard time breaking things into small pieces. And I am such a big picture thinker that when I'm dating a girl, I'm like, oh God, we're gonna date for a few months, then I'm gonna do the family, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And it really pulls me out of the moment, but also pulls me out of my feelings. There's no way I can know if I would want that if I've only been with her for like 3 hours. Like, there's no way I can know. But in my mind, I'm already just like big picture. And I'm always like, well, for the past 3 hours, I wouldn't want that with you, and I just can't commit. It's a really horrible thought process. It's like it doesn't serve me at all.
Yeah.
But fortunately, that's just kind of how I'm wired at this moment. I'm working on it, but definitely commitment issues through and through.
You got commitment issues, really?
I've only ever had 2 girlfriends, man. I don't. It's like,
Is it because you see them, like you see further in, like, okay, this is potentially someone I can marry. They're seeing my family, like
You,
I
like,
can't.
project into the future too much.
yeah,
Overanalyze.
very much into like what's the future look like, or it's the complete opposite. I don't think about it at all,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm just like, you take up no mental real estate when you're not right in front of me, which also is hard to commit to somebody if you don't think about it when they're not there. So,
You tried blending the two?
of course, I've tried. I can't say I've been successful, but I've tried.
Makes
You know.
sense. I think most men have a small percentage of mental block when it comes to commitment, especially if they're like moving towards something. They're like really working really hard on something.
Yeah.
Because in a relationship, especially at the beginning of the relationship, you do have to give her a good amount of attention. Because you don't want her to get bored, and 2, you don't want her to get, looking around for other men or anything like that. So, and that it is kind of scary, especially if you're really trying to work on something, because that's going to take a big chunk of your time.
Yeah.
I would say my mental block it's always been trust. It's just hard for me to trust people, and I overanalyze people's body language and stuff like that, and what they say, and it's a hot mess.
Well, answer me this. I have a question for Dante and Alpha Monk, just real quick. How do I phrase this? So, what do you guys think of this scenario, right? And this is the dilemma that I always find myself in. I feel like you guys often, like most men who want to be successful, find themselves in this scenario. Scenario A: you have a girlfriend when you have nothing, and she sticks with you through the whole thing, right? And she's been your backbone, she's helping you out.
Yeah.
Scenario 2: you want to do it yourself. You just want to do it yourself. You don't want to be held down. You don't want to be attached. You don't want to be committed. You want to give yourself 120% to whatever you think your purpose is. And then afterwards, you try and find somebody. But then when you have that person, it's kind of like, well, would you have loved me if I didn't have this thing? Do you guys ever think about that? Did that scenario ever like cross your mind? I think about that
Always.
Yeah.
Always, all the time, especially when you're single. It's part of the thought, definitely, because it is very important because you like it. She can tell you all day. If you meet her when you already have the money, she can tell you all day like, no, I don't care about the money. I never did. But part of you will always think like, well, man, would I have met her if I had the money? Would I have been at the position or the place where I met her? And then, would she have even talked to me if I was walking or taking the bus instead of having this Lamborghini and then on the other hand, it's like you really would love to have that ride or die that she was with you when you didn't have shit, and when you were really depressed, she was rubbing your shoulders like, I believe in you, and she was behind you. That's a beautiful thing too. And it also shows that you were able to work your ass off while being in a relationship. So I think about those a lot too.
I feel like those standards are like kind of weird because I think women want to go to someone who's like already got their shit together. Like I feel like they're not in it for the.
Don't.
I mean, they're not in it. I feel like it's like if you don't got this shit, like I do, like especially independent women, they don't want to feel like they're backtracking. You mean like they're just like, oh well, if he doesn't have this yet, this then yet. Like I don't know. I feel like it's such a dying breed of women who are like really down, like fucking down for you. Like,
but it's like I don't blame women for thinking that way though. Like I don't blame her at all.
It's security.
I mean, security is a major driver in reproductive success. Like I don't blame a woman for wanting to want a man who has these things, or for looking for a man who can provide these things already. I don't blame her for that, because who knows how long it takes, right? Like you start dating a guy, you guys both 20 years old, and he doesn't take off until he's 36.
Yeah. True. And they're not trying to wait for
you. Hot 20-year-old to get some guy who's 45 who already got billions. You know what I mean? Like I don't blame women for that. But as a man, that's just one of my mental blocks of when I'm dating a girl, I think about all the things that I want to do. Because let's be honest, I'm very self-driven, right?
Yeah.
Like I think about myself most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of like, can you ride with that? So when I'm dating girls, even just casual, I'm like, this won't work because I don't think you can ride with that.
Yeah.
I don't think you can hold me down for however long it takes. I don't think you can.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes back to, I guess, my mental block is financial stability. You know what I mean? That's been a big one for me. Like how am I going to provide or protect, and do all this shit? Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm always thinking like, well, shit, I got to have this shit. I got to have this. They're not really down for all that. Because, and it depends how long, like you said, it can happen in someone's late 30s. Like a breakthrough can happen in someone's life. You know what I mean? So it may not happen in their 20s. And if you're with someone for such a long time, they're going to be, babe, you said this like 5-6 years ago. Like, what's up? You know what I mean? So I feel like it's important to have that. I think that's like my biggest one. Just it stops me kind of like from like, all right, if I can't provide for my own self, it's going to be hard from kind of, provide for somebody else.
Right.
So, I mean, that's
what are your thoughts on that, Kylie?
Well, I don't know. I feel like what Dante was saying before about how women are looking for men who already have their shit together. Well, there's some women who like don't really care that much about that. I mean, they want to like build with you because maybe like they don't have their shit together themselves and they want to grow with you. So I think that's another like possibility.
That's if they're like 21 or 22, man.
Just gonna bring that up. Like, in your honest
30s, they're gonna be like, yo.
And I mean, I'm gonna ask you three because I'm 23. I didn't do the whole college thing. So most of my friends and peers and stuff, like they're just now finishing up their bachelor's, right?
So I didn't get a bachelor's.
No, but I'm saying most of us are like 23, 22. So we're kind of like, yeah, none of us have anything. Like we really don't have anything. But you guys being, 30 plus, I'm not like old, but 30 plus, right? You guys are still young. You guys still got this, right?
Thanks.
Is it harder to find somebody who wants to build? Because like if you think about it, you graduate high school at like 18, 19, and now your dating pool is people who have had 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 years as an adult. And do you think it's harder now to you either insecure because they're more established, or you're kind of like, bro, how are you like this age and don't have anything? Like what do you guys think about that now?
I think it's somewhat easier just because a lot of people in their 30s are starting to actually understand who they are. They're becoming more self-aware. And a lot of people have starting to figure out that the shit they went to school for doesn't actually work for them. They don't really want to do that anymore, or didn't really pan out the way they did. And a lot of us have debt from school, so we have to work at jobs that we didn't go for school for. There's a lot of people like that. And so the standard as far as the status goes, as far as looking for somebody with, all this money and all this success and everything, it's kind of lower. So they're just looking, like how you said, a lot of women I've talked to and even dated, they're looking for a man who's actually working towards something. They find that very interesting and very attractive, because he's still working. He's still climbing that hill instead of being on top of the hill and getting fat, right?
I don't know, man.
I think it's somewhat easy because.
How old are we talking though, man? Because we're talking like
that's too. I was going to say that too. It depends on the age because if you go past like 30,
mid-30s, man. Yeah.
Women are looking for more of a strong commitment and they want more of like husband type
kids.
But
you know what I'm saying?
27 to like 31, they still got that youth and they still got that that behavior and trying to work towards something. And like they're not really looking for a family yet. So, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit easier because in your 20s, like you're just trying to have fun, kick it, learn who the fuck you are, go through school, fuck as much as you can, and experience shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit harder to date. You can get a girl a lot faster and probably easier in your 20s, but you can't hold on to her just because they're going through their life as well. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to find themselves and they probably don't want to get hampered down for too long.
Yeah, it's a little easier if you're going like if you say in your 30s, you're talking to a girl in her 20s. You know what I mean? Like, you could be saying that shit. You could be like, well, I'm working on this and this and this. Like, okay, yeah, I'll be there. You know what I mean? Like, they're at that same level right now. So
women in their mid-20s go for men in their 30s because they're already self-aware. They're a little bit more emotionally and socially mature. So they go for them for that. But it's like a double-edged sword because a lot of men in their 30s and shit are already looking for women, to settle down with. And you can't do that with a mid-20s girl because she's trying to figure out who the fuck she is, too. Yeah. So it's like it's.
Do you think a little part of it's like, man, I'm like in my 30s? Am I 25 in my mind? Like, because 30s you're thinking like, okay, because it kind of fucks with you a little bit too. Oh,
but as young as you feel, man.
Yeah, all right.
There's some people in their 30s who still don't know what the fuck to do with their life.
Fuck no. It's like I said, people's breakthroughs happen at some.
Out.
Yeah, I mean, like shit, dude. It's like that. I mean, like it's especially in these times right now, trying to figure it out. Like it's just crazy.
Well, I mean, Eddie Murphy said it best. He said you can't have a backup plan. You got to have a plan A and no plan B because if you tell yourself you have a plan B, you're setting yourself up for failure.
You're going to be half in, half out.
Subconscious, you're telling your subconscious that it's okay if you fail at this because you still have this. You have this cushion back here. But no, you have to tell yourself, I got this plan A. And it doesn't matter how crazy it is. If somebody is already making money with it, then that means you can too. It's just that fear of getting over that. That fear of success or the fear of failure. You got to figure out which one that is. You got to tackle that shit.
I saw a tweet one time. And it's kind of like, people are making thousands of dollars a month selling bathwater. Your business idea is not that crazy. Like, I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
There's somebody buying everything. There's somebody buying something. Whatever you have, if you're good at it and you love it, somebody's gonna buy that shit, and you're gonna make it.
Hey, that's just being a good salesman. If you're a good salesman, you can win anything over with a female. If you're a good salesman, I'm just saying. I seen some pretty like shark tongue people pulling like easily.
But just saying, if you could sell 1 million things, you're a millionaire.
Yeah, dude. I'm just saying.
So what was all right. What are your mental blocks when it comes to dating? So mine was,
I already said mine. I think Kylie's the only one left.
I would say my stubbornness.
Oh yeah, you stubborn for sure. You're for sure stubborn.
Like if I'm really passionate about how I feel about somebody, so if they don't give me a hard no, and if there's maybe even a 10% chance that it could work out with us, then I'm not gonna like walk away from that. because I know what I want. If I really want to be with this person, then I'm going to be with them. That's in my mind, you know?
And then what happens, like, if they do it for, like, let's say another decade, and then they're like, oh, well, I'm dating somebody else now. They just change their mind. You just, all this lost time. Is it like
all the good
you being
men.
so sure about how you feel, or is it just sunk cost? You're afraid to give up what you already put in.
He's like, well,
Like, see you in 10 years. I'm just kidding. No.
he said 10 years later, well, I didn't make the same mistake. It's still good. I don't regret anything I've done.
No regrets.
No regrets. Yeah, you stubborn. Yeah, you probably would. Well,
It is what it is.
damn.
I remember one of the hardest lessons I ever learned was I had a crush on this girl in second grade, right? And I remember everything about her. Like, I had the biggest crush on her in second grade, and then my crush grew in third grade. I told her I had loved her in fourth grade, and in fifth grade, she kissed my best friend. So it's kind of like one of those things where I learned in fifth grade, I was like, don't get hung up for years over your feelings.
Mhm.
Like, things that are meant to be 9 times out of 10 don't take 1,000 years to happen. They just don't.
You ain't
Like, when you hear, like, love stories that they've been together for 20, 30, 40 years, these aren't just dating. Like, it just happened. Maybe they broke up and split up for a little bit, but they got back together. But it's like, no one strung anybody along, or no one, like, hoped for something for years and years and years and years outside of high school.
Yeah,
It just didn't happen.
it's a nice little motivation, but you ain't getting to her, man. She's stubborn. She's not gonna let.
I'm saying, like, I still carry that heartbreak from fifth grade. I'm not gonna name drop, but I know who you are, and if you're listening to this, you know who you are. So it's like I remember the heartbreak from fifth grade. I carry that with me every single day. And I use that to remember, like, don't get caught up, don't get hung up.
She's like my little brother. She's got the one-itis. Once
Oh,
they have
the one-itis.
on one person, they just can't let go of that.
Guys,
shit.
these terms,
My
man.
brother has liked a girl for 3 years and never asked her for a number or anything. He was trying to look for body language, anything. I'm not saying Kylie is doing that, but I'm just saying there's people out there that once they have their eye on one person, they just, for some reason, they just lock in, and it's so hard. It has to be like she said, it has to be extremely a hard no.
Yeah.
Or they have to do something really heinous to that person in order for them to actually see it. You know, he just now started dating some girl. He finally got a girlfriend after wooing over this one girl. And then I asked him about the chick he was wooing over 3 years, and it was like she didn't even exist anymore. And I was like, wow, it's so crazy. And it's hilarious, man. But, you know, there's people like that. Then there's people on the opposite side, like myself. It's like, you know, like I always say, throw a rock out the window and you hit like 3 or 11 women. So it's whatever.
You know, man, I forgot to say, man, we didn't even talk about the buzzwords. I forgot to mention that today. None of y'all said it, so it's good. Vulnerable, self-defense, and emotional. All right, our emotional, right? Is that what a better word? Emotional or emotion?
No, we gotta use the full one because
Okay.
Emotional.
The way it's written. The way it's written.
Okay, all right, emotional. None of y'all say that word, okay? None of you say 3 words you guys can't say. You guys could, but you know what happens. Okay, so I want to ask another question. How do you guys overcome those mental blocks? How can we overcome those mental blocks?
Man.
Seeing how none of us has come over ours yet.
I mean,
When
what
we do, we'll
steps
let
you guys
you know.
think you do, right?
Well, I imagine, and this is kind of like, I would say, most emotional blocks in some form or another are fear, right? It's fear that some kind of harm will come to us, whether physical or not physical. And I just know when you're getting over fears, you gotta have to just do that exact thing. Like, I was acrophobic for maybe 10, 12 years of my life. One of my buddies one day went to a rock climbing gym, and I thought we were gonna do bouldering, where you don't go more than like 6 or 7 feet off the ground. And no, he put a harness on me and made me crawl a 20-foot wall. So, and every time I wanted to quit, he would just yank it and pull in the groin. It hurt. I was all bruised. But it was like, you're not coming back down until you hit the bell. So I got over my acrophobia that way and haven't really been scared since. But so I would imagine when it comes to dating, it's kind of like a blind trust factor. Like, I'm afraid of commitment, but it's like I'll never know if a commitment's worth it until I commit to that person. Mm-hmm. Or if you're afraid of someone judging you financially, well, you'll never know until a money problem comes up and you see how they react. And so it's kind of that thing of that thing you're directly afraid of. Just do it. Do that thing. Just do that thing, right? It's like people who've been cheated on in the past and they're really afraid to get cheated on again. It's like, well, the only way to get over your fear of like being cheated on is just to ignore the possibility you might get cheated on. It's the only way. There are certain things you can do to prevent that from happening in a manner, right, to make it less likely. But other than that, it's like, I think when it comes to mental blocks, you literally have to just do that thing.
Well, I remember we learned in psychology that, you know, you can do cognitive exercises because like mental blocks is usually what it is uncontrollable suppression and repression of painful or unwanted thoughts, right? And it stops us from complete thoughts, and it'll stop us from doing things. Some people it causes anxiety. So it's just like whenever those mental blocks come up, you just gotta like chip away at it every time it comes up, and remember that every time it comes up, and be aware of it, and then that's the only way you can get away with it. Or I mean, you know, get rid of it anyway. But it takes time, you know, and you definitely have to be in a relationship for it to actually work on it, because you can't do it while you're single, because you just make up reasons.
Yeah, I feel like we make up new reasons every time. Like when you're single for the long time, you're like, man, I don't know. Like, and then if you get scarred so badly, you just find everything. You're like, no. So a little part of that, it could be a reason. I'm surprised none of us had a mental block of like having bad relationships or having a bad breakup. You know what I mean? Being scarred.
Well, mental blocks come from some form of hurt or pain or something that's fucked up that happened to you. That's why it was formed in the first place, because you just don't want to get hurt again.
Yeah.
You know, like I've known guys who've never been cheated on, and that's a fear that's not even in their mind when they enter a relationship.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you, if anybody has been cheated on, that is still in their mind in every new relationship. It always comes up at some point, either at the beginning or if something goes wrong in the relationship. It's just one of those questions. Is something going on? And I mean, it's just one of those things. Just got to get through it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's different for everybody. I mean, because we all have different mental blocks. Like, for instance, Markel's is commitment, and you projecting into the future. All of these kind of like negative things, but have you thought about projecting like positive things with the person you're dating that you could see?
I have, and I can say that's why I have my successful relationship with my most recent ex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did it for 2 years, and we just broke up over like some very fundamental, just different principles that just don't coincide together. We didn't really fight. There wasn't a big fallout. And it was like,
it was because of you can't promise her children or something, right?
Yeah, it was like I couldn't promise her children, and we were raised.
Think about it, like that's kind of naive. I mean, you guys are both like 23, right? It
wasn't incredibly naive. She wasn't a citizen, so we would eventually get married, and she would have to move here from her home country.
No, I mean, like just to like think that, to put that pressure on you because you're already so young. I mean, like see how you feel in another 5 years, and maybe you could give her an answer. But to give her a promise like right now, I mean, that's kind of.
Well, hold on. Here's the thing, because and I'm not saying you're wrong in that thought process, but when I explain the situation, hopefully it makes sense. Her goal in life is to have kids. Like that was her number one dream, was to be a mother, right? And she was one of those girls who wanted to build with somebody. She also was not a citizen. She didn't live in this country. We had a long distance relationship. I was flying to Sweden. She was flying to the US, right? And so we would both collectively have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars with immigration lawyers on the wedding, on getting our own property, living, building our own lives together.
Yeah.
Like she's not going to do that with someone who possibly doesn't want any kids ever again. So it wasn't so much like, oh, promise me and you were going to have kids right now. It was like, I'm not going to leave my entire family in my home country, do all this for citizenship here, do all this to come live here, give up everything, come be with you, start all over, right, to not have kids.
Mm.
That's a very honest thing. It's a very honest, because I mean, if I told her, yeah, in the future I'll have kids, I'm sure she wouldn't have minded waiting until we're like 27, 29. She wasn't afraid of having kids in her early 30s. That wasn't a fear of hers. Hers was like, I'm not going to leave everything behind, come marry you, do all this stuff for citizenship just for you to say no.
So was that a hard no?
At the time, it was like, I have to think about the investment. And it was closer to a hard no. It wasn't a hard no, but it was closer to a no than it was a yes. I
Yes.
already have a kid.
Right
It's a
now.
lot of work, and I'm kind of like I'm happy with the one that I have. I don't know if I want more.
Okay.
And that was just so incredibly stressful. Honestly, I don't want to go through that again. Like, so I'm not doing that again.
Feel that.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, like, I can feel why you became very pushed away from commitment. I mean, like, that's especially as someone who wants a kid. You're just like, like, you know what I mean? Must I do this again? So, I mean, yeah, that can be tough, man. That can mess you up a little bit.
Right.
I don't
And
know
I
how
have
to
this
really.
feeling too of like I go out a lot. I'm very available. That makes sense. Like I'm out a lot. I talk to strangers, very friendly. I go to the gym. I go to the malls. I go to bars. I go to clubs. I go walk around town. If I'm like whoever is like destined to be with me, she'll find me. Like I'm not hiding in my room. Like people who are like never do anything and be like, why can't I find anybody? I'm not that person. I go out. I talk to people. I go on dates. Maybe I don't go on very many second dates, right? I usually cut it off after the first date. I don't go on very many second dates.
Damn.
She'll find me. She will. Like law of attraction style. Like I'll bump into her.
Well, I mean, that's usually how it works. When you don't look for it, it kind of comes your way. All right. So I guess, I mean, I don't know. It's really, I guess we're still dealing with that to overcome. It's good to kind of help each other out, like give us a little advice that may help, but hopefully that was a value for everyone else. Kylie, just stop being stubborn. She's like, no.
Never.
No, like every day we try to give her like little nuggets here and there. She's just like, you hear me? Like she's just.
I do want to say.
We do it every episode. And she just goes there, just goes the other way, like,
I want to say something about Kylie's stubbornness, right? It is every man's dream to have a girl who goes as hard as for them as Kylie would.
Dude, right?
Like every man goes to sleep. He'll even roll over on his side and look at his girlfriend in his bed and be like,
she's never
why
leaving.
can't you go hard for me like Kylie? What's wrong with you? like every man thinks that. Like,
Dude, you're
like,
going.
my future girlfriend doesn't go hard for me like Kylie.
She's not giving up, man. Like I don't have that. Usually girls give up like maybe like the first month. Like, all right, he's not interested in me and like leave. Maybe not even that. Less than a week. You know what I mean?
I have commitment issues because I know girls won't go hard for me like Kylie would. That's why.
Nah, they won't. They won't.
You wouldn't go hard like Kylie. It's not gonna happen.
This is true. You know what? You are going super hard on that. So she said, "Kylie here to give advice, not take it." That's what someone commented on. Kylie here to give advice, not to take advice. Oh man, I gotta put Gabe on here. That was Gabe. He was on the last episode.
That's the cancer guy, right?
No, that was no. That's Donish. I'm surprised he's not on. Usually he would say something on here. He's not on today.
Wait, what's Gabe's zodiac sign? I thought he was a Cancer too.
Was he a Cancer?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he was a Cancer. He'll probably say what he is.
Okay.
But I don't know what he is. I thought he was Scorpio, but I don't know. All right, so I'm trying to look at another one. All right.
When was a time? That one. I like that one.
When was the time? Which one?
Yeah, like a specific time.
Oh, okay, I see it. Oh, yeah. When was a time where you think you may have overlooked a potential partner because the signs, personality, or love language didn't match? Whoever wants to.
I will definitely say, I think there's been a handful of times where I've overlooked or I didn't choose to date somebody because one of their love languages was quality time, and I felt like they wanted to spend too much time with me.
Oh, too much time.
Right? Like in retrospect, when I think about that, I'm kind of like, that's kind of what it was. Right? Because their whole thing was just like, oh, if you're just going out and about, like I'll just hang out with you, and I'd be like, what? Like, I love dates. Like I love going on dates and like planning dates and doing dinners and lunches and hikes and going to the beach and going to the mall. But if I'm just doing my daily routine, like no, I just that's my thought process time to just let my mind relax while I'm thinking about what protein powder to get. Like no,
stupid. Over here just trying to fucking get fit out here, man. For me, I never really overlooked a partner because of that. Maybe I overvalued him, so because it was such a work, it worked out. Maybe I'm like, oh man, I put him on a pedestal. Like I was like, all right, cool. There's no way like we're perfect, right? I mean, maybe I've done that before. I don't think I've overlooked it. That's when I was heavy like hardcore on signs, like personality, when I was really hardcore on it. So I mean, I had that chance where it didn't work out too well. That's when I started slowly not believing it.
Oh, you gave him like too much credit.
I did. I was like, yo, like we're like perfect, like signs match, love language, dude. This is before love language was created, but personality was one. So, oh, we compliment each other, but it never worked that way. Never, I don't think I've really overlooked that. I mean, I've been overlooked. I feel like I've been overlooked. I feel like I'm a potential. I'm just kidding. I feel like I'm the one. Nah, I'm just kidding. But no, that's for me. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever been through it. I'm sure Kylie, I don't know if you have overlooked that. Yeah, you being heavily into the signs. So I'm sure.
I'm
I
not.
don't know if Alpha Monk has. Have you? Alpha Monk? Have you overlooked that, a potential part of because of all that? Like signs, personality, and love language did match?
I mean, honestly, I don't even think about the signs when I meet a girl. Like, that's not even in my thought process. They're usually the ones that bring it up. And it's usually like after the second or third date. So they're already kind of like into me anyway. So if my sign and her sign doesn't really clash, they'll just try to figure it out.
Yeah.
But seeing how my mental block is trust, that's always been a problem. It has ended a lot of relationships. I would end them immediately when I start seeing little weird signs of mistrust, like they lie about stupid small shit. And I start to think that, hey, they might be lying about bigger shit, you know? And so then I just going through my mind, and then anything they say sounds like bullshit. And it's just harder and harder as time goes by for me not to trust them. So it's like, that's why I try to stay 100% honest, because I want people to be 100% honest with me. And I think it's just better. Even if you hurt people's feelings, it's like, as long as you're being honest, as long as you're not like being an asshole about it. But you know, I think in a relationship, especially if you're in love and it's a romantic relationship and you guys respect each other, like that's a really important one. Then trust shouldn't be a problem, and honesty shouldn't be a problem either. Because if you have respect for yourself, you have respect for your partner, then you know it's gonna mold really well.
Yeah.
Then in that case, why is trust such a big problem for you?
Because I never they never want to be honest. Like a lot of the times, women don't want confrontation, so they just won't tell you what's going on, and they don't like to take accountability with a lot of things. So if they do something, they'll try to have some form of reason why they did it and never take accountability of what they did. And a lot of the times they'll lie just so they won't go through that argument or that debate with their boyfriend. And I think that's stupid. I think you should just go out. If you've done something, it's going to eat away at you until you at least confess. So you might as well confess or be honest out in the open right at the beginning instead of dragging it on. Because it's just going to make you look more horrible as a person. And it's just, I mean, it's going to end anyway. You're going to end shit anyway. So why are you trying to draw it out? So that's what I never understood when it came to that shit. It's like, you know, I understand confrontation is hard and it sucks. But if you can get through it, and if it's not something that ends the relationship, then you'll become stronger, you know, beyond it. So that's how I feel anyway.
So do you mean in situations like when you see there's something that's clearly bothering her and you ask, oh, what's wrong? And then she just goes, oh, nothing. Like,
yeah, I mean, every dude has dealt with that. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, she's not being open with her feelings or being honest with her feelings. Yeah, I feel like, because I definitely do that too sometimes. And the reason why I do it is because I'm afraid of how you would react if I was honest, because I feel silly for thinking this in the first place, you know?
That's what I'm talking about. It's like, why does that matter? Because at some point you will tell him, right? So then it's like, you should just get it out in the open anyway. It doesn't matter if it's silly or not, because if you respect him and he respects you, then it doesn't matter if it's silly. He'll still understand it. But if he's, you know, misogynistic or he's abusive or he's, you know, any of those horrible things that, you know, people are in a relationship, then yeah, they'll probably clown you about it or make fun about it or not really listen to you about it. But like, if you guys really understand each other, you got good chemistry, you respect and trust each other, then yeah, you can say, you know, what's wrong with you? Well, I felt like this, and this. I had a girlfriend once who was highly jealous, but she didn't show it the first couple of months. And she would do that. We would go out to, like, she was so crazy, weird, jealous. We'd go to a restaurant. And I remember for the longest time, I used to say love a lot after I would say something to talk to a woman, because my grandmother used to say that. And whatever, long story short, the waiter thing, I was like, thank you, love. And that was it. And she immediately got an attitude.
Oh.
And I kept asking her what was going on. It took several hours for her to actually say that. And it ruined that entire several hours over that one small thing. If she just would have said that, I could explain to her where that came from. And it had no romantic meaning whatsoever. And that would have squashed everything. And she would have felt better. I would have felt better. And we could have enjoyed the rest of the day. But instead of her like keeping that in, holding it in, and lying about she's okay, it just made things worse.
Yeah.
And the only other people who do that, and I'm sorry to say, are children. That's the only people to do that, because they're afraid to get in trouble. You know, and a parent, what'd you do? Nothing. You know, and I'm okay, nothing. You know, so it's just weird to me. It's like, just be honest and straight up front. Be a mature adult about your feelings, and just, you know, tell us what's wrong.
I think to add on to that, just real quick, one thing that I've always believed is oversharing hurts relationships. Like, if you think about it, even as a man, right? Even as a man who doesn't show when he's upset at every little thing. He's a guy who's not very how do I almost said a buzzword there? A guy who's embodies Stoic philosophy, right? You will still get upset 2 or 3 times a day. You will. It's just inevitable. Like, something really stupid and minute will happen. You'll be like, man, fuck this microwave. Man, fuck this traffic. Man, this bug flew in my eye. Fuck that bug. Like, something's going to happen, right? Whenever I'm dating a girl, if she's upset, I'm only going to ask her once what's wrong. If she doesn't tell me, but I know definitively something's wrong, I can say, okay, well, look, something's bothering you. What can we do to make it better? Let's go for a walk. Let's go do this. I'm not going to ask her to talk about it. I'm not going to put pressure on it. What's going to happen is her emotions are kind of like a balloon, right? You're just going to press and press and press and press and press. What's wrong? I know something's wrong. Well, just tell me. Just tell me what's wrong. And now her mental script is, oh, this is really stupid. Oh, no, this is really stupid. Oh, my God. He really knows now. If I say something's going to be really, like, it's just, I let it go. I just let it just seep out like helium. She'll tell me. Yeah. She'll just tell me. I just have to make sure she's comfortable and there's no pressure. She will just tell me, right? If she's really upset, like that dinner, where she wasn't saying anything, I'll be like, look, I know you're upset. I'm going to give you some time to think about it. And I would have just ate my food. And like, I wouldn't have pressed. I wouldn't have asked. I would only ask once. Because I tell you right now, the pressure of the silence, just the you not saying anything and you not backing down from, I know something's wrong. I'm going to give you space to think about it. She's going to be just splurting out. Why'd you call her love? It would have just came out. It just would have. So whenever I'm dating a girl and she just something's wrong and I can tell, all I say is, I know something's wrong. What can I do to make it better? If she can't tell me anything to make it better, I said, all right, you tell me when you're ready. I let it go. She's an adult. She's an adult. She'll tell me. That also teaches her to be accountable for her feelings, because it's all her to tell me now. I'm not going to ask again.
Yeah, I like it. That's how that would have happened. I've learned that a long time ago. I only asked twice. And the second time, I'm like, are you sure nothing's wrong? And they say no, then I just drop it. And I just never bring it up again. And like that's why I asked told Kylie, I like, eventually they're going to say something, because they always do. Especially if you just drop it and don't worry about it, that's going to irk them too. So it's like, it's a very weird thing that goes on with the heart and mind of women sometimes when they're upset. They do want to tell you, like you said, it might be something silly, or it might to her. But, guys are a lot more nicer when it comes to that type of shit. Just like when we turn down a girl if she approaches us and try to get our number and we're already taken. We're a lot nicer than some women would be if a guy would approach her and do the same thing. But I just think instead of going through all of that gameplay, all of that being silent and waiting and, until she gets comfortable, it's just, just come out and just talk like an adult. That's what we are. We're adults. Just spread it out.
Well, if she openly just admitted to being super jealous, like right up front without, when you asked her, like, what would you think of that?
Well, at first I would probably chuckle and then just tell her that she had absolutely nothing to worry about. And then tell her like, I grew up hearing this my entire life and I adopted it. and I use that. You know, it's just something that I use to. It's no different than, you know, calling somebody a sweetheart or whatever. But I mean, it's how she took it is how she took it. But we would have questioned it right there. It would have been over. You know, I'd have made her feel more confident about the relationship instead of, you know, who knows what went through her mind those 4 hours. You know, she could have been harming herself, her whole psyche about thinking about, you know, whatever. It's a downward spiral with that, with jealousy. So it would have helped her out if she would have came out and just be honest about it. Because she should have known by that time that I'm not the type that argues loudly. I'm not aggressive when I argue. I don't get upset, throw shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't call you names or anything like that. I'm very calm. You know what I'm saying? And I stick to the point, and I'm very logical when it comes to it. Yeah, I don't get my emotions involved into it. So you know, she should have known that. But
that hurt your image of her if you found out that, oh, this girl is actually really jealous, a jealous person.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Would that hurt your image of her? Like if you just found out, oh, this is actually a really jealous person that I'm with?
No, I mean, I've always believed that women show more jealousy than men. It's not that you guys are more jealous than men. I think it depends on the person. But through my experience, women have shown it more, even when they say they're not the jealous type. They show it. The ones who say they're not jealous type always show that they're more jealous. But I've always known that's just one of those traits that usually most people have. So it doesn't really throw me off. But it's just one of those things you communicate about.
I just think that, I mean, it's cool you guys say this whole trust thing kind of works in a way, but like I feel like if you tell someone full on trust, they're going to be like, I remember one time, by instance, example, they said, oh, you know, how many girls you hooked up with? Like one girl asked me straight up, facts. I gave her the real number, and she's like, you're a dog. Like, I was like, well, I'm being honest. I'm being truthful. So, I mean, sometimes some truth people can't take because some people are immature in a way where, like, you can't expect to have that kind of conversation with them on trust and tell them the truth. You have to kind of talk to them like you are, like, talking to a 13-year-old child. You still tell them, like, Santa Claus is real. It's like you have to do that, just like I said, the reaction factor, because then they're going to think, like, you know what I mean? Like, and they just don't want to hear it. So, I mean, I don't know, because Gabe said a question. He said, have you ever been in a relationship of radical 100% honesty? Like he said, have you ever been in a relationship of radical 100% honesty? Like no lies on little things, even if it hurts.
Yeah, I have once. And it lasted for 3 years until we started to allow other people give us suggestions and advices in our relationship. I think once you do that, once you allow external people to get involved, you kind of fuck shit up.
Yeah.
But that first 3 years, I had no worries. I had full 100% trust in this woman, and it was vice versa. And it was a beautiful relationship. And I still, to that day, see that as the way to go. But, you know, it's a fluke, man. I mean, you know, you just never know until you know. It's one of those things. But, like, as far as what you were saying, Dante, like, I don't believe in the telling the number thing when it comes to that. I think it doesn't matter how many you say to a girl or how many she has. Somebody's going to have a problem with it. So it's best just not to know.
So there you go. But you're not being completely honest. You're kind of just saying, well, I got
true.
And then it goes to girls like, do I look fat in this? You say, yeah, you do. It's like,
I'm telling you right now, it's
right? You can't be honest.
Yeah, but it's how you're being honest. Yeah. Do I look fat in this? Yeah, baby, you look fat. Yeah,
it's like you're being honest.
Yeah, but that's being blatantly honest. That's being harshly honest. But I'm just saying, be honest. Yeah, baby, do I look fat in this? Baby, it probably doesn't. You know, I don't know. You can go many ways of saying it instead of saying she looks fat and say it doesn't do well with your body type. You know, maybe try something else. All right.
If she asks you, do you think I'm fat? Then what?
you thick, girl. You thick.
No, I'm thinking you're fat, but maybe
the size just runs small. It's the clothes.
I know the size runs small, but do I run big? She's gonna ask you, do I run big?
Right?
Like,
how do you be creative? How creative can you be to try to switch that around?
I want to know. So
no, trust me. I work in retail and I work with women all the time, and they always ask me that, and that's what I say. Like, oh no, it's not you. It's just the size runs small.
It's like,
well, think about it. What is fat? Okay, does anybody date? I mean, if you're dating a big girl, then she obviously knows she's fat, and you obviously know she's fat. So that right there is in all honesty. But if you're dating a girl that is petite and she's just being a little needy and she's saying, "Am I fat?" which is usually what happens, then no, you're not fat. No, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not fat. You know, fat is being obese or overweight, right? So unless you're dating a fat or obese woman, then I would say you're not lying to her at all. So
you would call her fat then.
Like, come on, man. Let's not kid ourselves. If my girl comes in like, baby, I look fat, and you're like, nah, it doesn't really fit your body, baby. You laugh about it. You think she's gonna break up with you over that shit? No, she got with you because you're somewhat of an asshole. Any fucking way. So it's like you being honest. Being honest is somewhat of an asshole. And for me, my experience has shown that women kind of are attracted to that. They like that shit when you're being upfront and honest, because they got simps all day telling them that they're beautiful and shit and lying to them. So let them motherfuckers lie to them. I'm gonna tell you the truth. So if you don't like it, then there's the door. I'll get somebody who does.
Damn. I got some comments here. Someone said, "Yeah, I don't ask my man that questions. I wish I never asked my man any of those questions." Someone also said, "You don't let others give you advice because everyone has gone through traumas of their own." Yeah. So we're within like 4 minutes left of this, guys. So I'm not sure if you guys have anything else you want to add on there. You guys all coming on the post episode, of course, right? Keep it 20 minutes or so. Okay.
Yeah.
No, like 10, 15 minutes.
As long as we're done by 9:30, I have a bedtime.
Oh, okay, bet. Okay, so we'll keep it short. But yeah, so we didn't even get to a lot of the questions here. Actually, no, we kind of talked a little bit about it.
Yeah.
I think the other half of it's like self-confidence. We can kind of talk that in the post episode, but honestly, like the mental block is definitely a huge factor. I think we all have our own mental block. Probably why most of us are still single, right? Okay.
Yeah, but I'll tell you right now, I just don't want a girlfriend.
Oh.
Like, I've been in positions where I've been single and I've wanted a girlfriend, and then my commitment issues wouldn't let me, like, actually, like, I would go on all these dates with really good quality women because I'm incredibly picky. I'm a firm believer in if you're a man, I think men, especially in dating, men's biggest problem in dating is they don't have enough options to know how to, like, discern between good and bad women. Like, if you're an average looks, like if you're a girl with like above average looks, you're getting approached often enough to know the difference between a good guy and a bad guy. But most guys, if you're not approaching every single week tons of different girls, like you're probably not dating enough to know the difference between a good girl and a bad girl. Like, you don't have the options. You don't have the opportunities to figure it out. But for me personally, it's like I'm very big on vetting women. And sometimes I think I'm just a little bit too picky. Like, I vet them too hard, right? I'm like, oh, you didn't go to school. Oh, you don't have a great job. Oh, you don't have a good relationship with your family. Oh, you're not, because it's one of those things where it's like, as a man, and I'm going to assume the masculine role in my life and my relationships, I'm going to assume that I'm going to be protector, provider. I'm going to provide assets and security, right? In the future, I might be a paternal figure. And it's like, well, I'm not going to share that with you because I don't, not for me, maybe someone else, but not for me. Like, you're not to my standards. And
okay,
I just want to throw that in there. I feel like a lot of guys can't vet.
No, I feel it. I mean, like I said, within 2 minutes, I'm not sure if you guys want to add anything else on there. We got like 2 minutes left. Make it pretty quick if you guys want to add something on there. No? You guys good? Okay, so
Your mental block to your responsibility. How about that? Be responsible. Extreme ownership.
This might be, I don't know if this is gonna be our last time we're doing once things start opening up, man, we're gonna start doing actual stuff within physical. This might not be, we might not do this too much, huh? Do the whole video thing. We might actually.
It's the end of an era.
Meet in real life.
Yeah, we're gonna meet in real life, I think, at some point soon, right?
IRL? What?
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, we might do another episode, but like as we start opening up again,
It'll be totally different too. Like when we start arguing, we're like right there.
So, appreciate you guys coming on again. Like I said, another happy anniversary for 4 years of Why Date. Appreciate you guys being such big fans. If you guys have any other comments, please go on the website. If you guys have some ideas, we're open to it. I'm not sure how many episodes I'm gonna do till the season's over, but we're gonna do our post episode. So if you guys want to hop back on, you guys can. And then yeah, but other than that, enjoy you guys rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, next episode. All right, guys.
All right.
Oh, I didn't see you there. Hey, this is going on. This is Dante from the Why Day Podcast, the host, and hope you guys like our content on the last episode. And just letting you guys know that we are going to be posting everything on our website, www.whydaypodcast.com. And for all the information, you can go on here. I know if you guys already looked on the video, it's on YouTube. YouTube episodes are on here. Everything on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, Google Play, all that is on there. Now, another thing we also are giving out for a lot of listeners who's been listening for a while, we actually have a Patreon. So a Patreon account, if you donate, it's a $5 tier of $5 a month. What we're going to be giving you is some exclusive content, which is going to have 30 to 45 minute Q&A before the episode. So if we typically have a guest speakers on there. We have some love coaches on there, like we had in our last episode. We have a love coach, relationship gurus, motivational speakers. So you got the Q&A time within 30 to 45 minutes to talk to them before we do our episode. Or if you want to talk to any of us, some of the speakers on there, the co-hosts and things like that, we also open that up for anyone out there. Also, we're going to be having an exclusive giving out the prior episode. So we're going to have the episode and you're going to have the first leak of the episode before we even put it on to everybody else to see. So that's all we have. It's just $5. It's a very small number. I know most people are, got other investments, whereas Netflix, I'm not competing with Netflix or Disney Plus, but it's something that we're giving out for you guys here. If you want to tune in there, that's also on the website. I'll put the link right down here. So it's www.whydaypodcast.com. And now I'm going to get back to my work. So if you guys want to kindly just, scatter